Hello everyone, this is Margarita with City Gal Papeterie, and I have another Christmas series video for you today. I'm going to be making these cards using really inexpensive supplies. Here I have a set of tags that I got from the dollar store, and you can see there I got 18 tags with ribbon for just $1. They are all Christmas themed, so I can use them for the season. These I purchased last year at Rite Aid, and they say $2.99, but I actually got them at 75% off, so they were, I think, almost under $1 if I'm not mistaken. These came from AC Moore, and they were on clearance, 8 sheets of paper for $1. And I like these because I can cut out all the little houses and use a couple for each card that I want to make, or I can pair them up or make like a little town type of scene. So I really like that. They're all double-sided as well, and I think most of them are Love Nicole paper, and as you can see they're all double-sided and they have different patterns. This sheet I also like because I can cut out the images and use them separately, or I can keep it as a background. I can also use the candy canes on that side, and I also got this really nice glitter, green glitter sheet. The glitter does not come off. It's a nice quality glitter paper, also by Love Nicole. This sheet is by Studio Calico, and it has a bunch of different wordings that are Christmas related or holiday related, and I thought this would go perfect with making different cards because I can cut out a sentiment from this and then use it on the cards. So let's begin. I start off with this snowflake tag and just a Sharpie, and I want it to look whimsical. I take the Sharpie and just draw a few lines to frame the outside of my card base. Now, just alone like that, I felt it was too plain, so I grabbed a piece of recycled tissue paper that I got from a present, and I keep all my tissue paper. Anytime I get gifts, I always keep the tissue paper. I wonder if any of you guys do that actually. Tissue paper is a gift, and gift bags. I just save them, all of them. And so I'm just tearing the edges so that they fit in the frame that I just drew with my Sharpie. And I'm not looking for perfection. I then take my Sharpie and I draw a line along the edge of the tag just so that it pops out a little bit more against the red tissue paper. And then using a stick glue, I am going to stick down that tissue paper onto my background. And then using some of these foam circles, I prop up my tag to finish off the card. Now I have kind of two versions of all of these cards. I have the basic, layout of the card where I just made the card and then set it aside. But a lot of times I like to come back to my cards and add other things. And so I do that with a lot of these cards. I make them, but then I come back to them later and I add other stuff, other details. Here I'm just grabbing some washi tape, and sometimes washi tape tends to come off of my projects. So I just add some stick glue to make it more permanent. And I cover the background with this like teal blue textured washi tape. Now it's not even, but I don't mind that. I should have probably done 2 on the end, 1 in the middle, and then the other ones in the center of those, but I just started kind of randomly. So once those are all down, I grab a pair of scissors and I fussy cut 3 snowflakes out of the tags. I do leave a small border around the snowflake. I don't cut it all the way on the edge of the image. And then I prop those up with some foam squares. And I've already pulled out my hole punch that you can see there on the left hand side, and I'm gonna take that leftover from the tag, and it's got some glittery snowflakes, and I go ahead and punch those out with the hole punch. Now, I don't need all of them, but I do punch out quite a few. And then with some wet glue, I'm just going to mark some random areas on my background. And then I'm going to stick my little circles of glittery snowflakes. Well, I mean, they don't look like snowflakes. They're just glitter dots, I guess. But they're supposed to be snow. And so I put those randomly onto the background. And then I set this card aside. I do add a sentiment later on, and I will definitely be going through all of them later. Now I take this glitter paper and I grab this roll of ribbon and the spool of ribbon, and then I trace a circle around it because I want to create a circle of this size. I'm trimming it along the traced line, and I'm making sure that it's mostly round. Not striving for perfection again. I had a hard time with this gingerbread tag because either I left a ribbon and it looked like a long red ponytail, or if I took the ribbon out, it looked like he had a hole in his head. Well, it didn't look like that, but he had a hole in his head. And I was really, really bothered by that. So I took this other tag with a snowman and I trimmed out the hat. Sorry, it got really blurry there. I wasn't looking at the camera, but yeah, I cut out his top hat and I used that top hat to cover the hole on the gingerbread man's head. So he doesn't have a hole in his head or a weird red ponytail. I do create other top hats for the other gingerbread tags, but I use scrap paper instead of, I didn't want to take the top hats off of all the snowmen in case I wanted to use them. So I do repeat this with the other ones, but I use scrap paper to cut out my own top hats. And then off camera, I did use my Sharpie to blacken the tie, his bow tie, and then I added some black edges or some black trim around his vest. And now I'm just creating a diagonal dashed frame on my card base. Just to do something a little different, I center my glitter circle and glue it down. And then again, I prop up my little gingerbread guy with some foam squares. I really like to use foam squares or foam dots or foam tape because it gives my cards a nice dimension. I like my cards to have dimension and, you know, just kind of different elements to it that's not just a flat card. And those are fine too sometimes, you know, but I like my cards to have some dimension. And then I set that card aside. So I don't know if you guys have ever started a project and then have been interrupted a gazillion times and then decided you didn't even want to do it anymore. So that's kind of what happened with this. I worked on all the other cards off camera. This is what I had left when I was done with all of them. I'm going to go through all the cards and I'm going to be adding some details to them, but I have never been interrupted as much as I have while creating this video. So that's why a lot of the cards I made just on my own time. These are the scraps that I had left over when I was done, and I had a lot of tags left over as well. So I can even make a lot more cards with this, or I can use these for actual presents. So you can see I had a bunch of these left, and these are the gingerbread tags. So you see I made my own little top hat using scrap paper so he didn't have a hole in his head. But I didn't use them all, which is great because I still get to use them for other cards when I can come up with new ideas. But unfortunately, I just kind of ran out of ideas and time and patience with this project, but I wanted to share it with you guys. So this is all the paper that I had left. I cut this one all up to take out sentiments from it, and I have almost a whole sheet of the green glitter paper. And I'm laying out the cards here. These are all the ones that I completed. That first one, I die cut that shape onto it. And then you can see there I use one of the little houses, and this one has one of the floral tags, the poinsettia tags. This one has another one of the houses and the pattern paper in the background. I cut the lettering out of the tag for this one. This one is another, this is probably the plainest one that I've ever made. I never make plain cards, I always have a bunch of stuff. But I left it as is. I even wrote in the sentiment myself. And this one I added a peace sentiment to it. So I added wording to the ones that I found like appropriate wording or the sizing was right for the card. And but a lot of them were missing something. I felt like I needed to add some more and I needed to come back to them like a couple days later at least, just to kind of clear my head and then see them in a different light. So now I grab all of these little ephemera pieces that I've had sitting around on my desk. I believe I used them in my last one of my last projects as well. And so I start to just add elements to these cards. I start adding different things to just emphasize their look and to just bling them up and just make them a little bit more wow than they are currently. I grabbed some twine in addition to the December 25th tags that I put on that one card. And sometimes I forget what a big difference just tying a bow on your card could be. I tend to forget to use my twine, but here I had the little my little basket of twine right next to me, so I just grabbed it and started putting twine. I think I put twine on almost all of these, but I guess we'll see in just a second. But I do add twine to this one. This is paper twine. It's just made out of paper. It's not actual like string, so it can be a little tricky to use sometimes, but I thought that just adding the twine really helped to finish the card. I thought it made it look a lot more finished than it did originally. And so that one's completed. And now I go through my ephemera, I find these little pieces and this bow that I made from the leftover twine from my last card, and I glue that down. And like I said, since it's paper twine, gluing it down will be sufficient. Usually I find that I have to use glue dots or even hot glue to get my ribbon down or my twine, but since this is paper, it glues down very well. And then I just add this little holly that I found also in my ephemera. And just these three little items I felt made the card look so much better than it did before. And that one's done. And now looking through my ephemera again, I'm just going to keep on trying to add things. I'm just trying to see what I like, what might match or coordinate with what I already have. I do settle with that little heart for the house card, and then on the house card on the right, I am trying to figure out what to add to the Mary because it just says Mary. It doesn't have anything under it or anything after it. So I'm just going through and trying to find something that would make sense with having the Mary on there. And then I find this that says Merry Christmas Morning. So I have the little tag that says Christmas Morning. I just finished that one off because I had set the heart on there, but I forgot to glue it down. And now I'm adding some twine to the top of this card, and I tuck it right behind the roof of the house, which is propped up on foam tape or foam squares. I use whatever is closest to me. Now I tie my bow. Sometimes I like to adhere the bow down after tying it. I like to sort of use a glue dot or something to kind of keep it in place. But as of late, I haven't been tying it because I don't know if my recipient might want to recycle the card or use the twine for something else. So I'm not gonna make it permanent. I just leave it as is. And then I glue down the little oval that says Christmas Morning. So it now says Merry Christmas Morning. And then I added the little banner to the side also. Now for this one, I felt like the card was complete, but it looked really odd with that blank space at the top. So to remedy that, I just grabbed the card, put it through this guillotine trimmer, and I just chopped off the top. That's it. That's all I did. So it's just going to be a little shorter than all the other cards, but I don't think that's a big deal. Now I find this ribbon ephemera and I glue this down to my snowflake card, and it says, "Believe in the magic of Christmas." And I thought it went well with that card. It took me a while to glue things down because there was so much glitter on some of these tags. Now I just add some white twine to this card, and I felt like that was enough to kind of give it a little added detail that it didn't previously have, but it made it look much more finished. And I didn't really have to do much to it other than just tie a little string around it. So yeah, guys, remember to add your twine. Here I'm adding some more twine, just using it up. For this one, I added a little piece of that red tissue paper behind my die cut there to just help it pop out a little bit. And then I don't make a bow here, I just tie it in a knot. And I had that little piece that I cut off that's there on the right hand side was kind of long, so I just tucked it underneath and then tied it around the knot as well. So now I have 4 little legs instead of 2, and I evened them out, and I left that one as is. Oh no, I did add a sentiment. I thought I left it without. I added this little sentiment that says "Let it snow," or I should say a little die cut ephemera piece to be more accurate. And now that one is done. And for this one, I just added the little heart, and that is it. And then the other 2, I think I just leave as is. This one is really simple. I just left it as it was. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial or this sharing of projects, of sharing of cards. It was really quick, but just another idea of how you can use some really inexpensive supplies to still create some Christmas cards and get your cards out to your friends and family. I hope you guys are having a great holiday, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye.